A man was sitting inside his luxury villa in Bangkok, working on his laptop, when suddenly he heard the loud sound of a car crash from outside. Unaware that his lavish lifestyle was about to end in just a few minutes, he left his laptop open and rushed outside. A girl had supposedly committed this act, and the police had been waiting for this day for many years. This was the morning of July 5th, 2017, in Bangkok. The man we're talking about was no ordinary individual. He was a multimillionaire living a life of luxury. For years, he had hidden his identity, but a small mistake cost him everything: his properties, money, cars, and even his life. But what was that small mistake, and how did the police from 7 different countries track down the most wanted dark web king alongside Colbin? Welcome back to another video on Climax, viewers. The story begins in 2010, when the dark web was slowly rising. The dark web is the other side of the internet, where all kinds of illegal activities occur, from drugs and weapons trading to contracts for targeted killings. All the dark business takes place there. It's hard for us to even believe the kind of things that happen there. The reason behind these illicit activities on the dark web is simple. Criminals want to hide their identities so that they can avoid law enforcement agencies. The dark web seemed like the perfect solution for this problem, allowing illegal trades to flourish. Before 2010, the dark web wasn't as prominent, but after the rise of cryptocurrencies, the issue of transferring payments for illegal trades was also solved. Cryptocurrencies are difficult for authorities to trace, making the dark web a safe space for criminals to operate. The demand for illicit trades was high, and the dark web became a thriving market. Sellers and buyers needed a reputable platform where their identities and payments would remain secure. Thus, in 2011, the Silk Road, a dark website, was launched and quickly gained success with over 100,000 users. However, just 2.5 years later, the Silk Road's owner was caught and the site was shut down. Yet, due to the high demand for these services, numerous new dark websites were launched, such as Silk Road 2.0 and Evolution. On these sites, customers would buy or sell using Bitcoin. After the transaction, the platform would deduct a commission and pay the seller. However, exit scams, where platform operators would take the money and shut down the site, became common. Since no one knew their identities, it was impossible to trace them. Hence, drug dealers would simply move to other platforms. In the early years of the dark web, there were many such issues: exit scams, hacking, and platform owners getting caught. A trustworthy platform was desperately needed, and that's when AlphaBay came into the picture in 2014. AlphaBay was launched by an anonymous person known as Alpha02. No one knew his real name or location. Initially, the site only allowed the sale of certain items like drugs and weapons, but other products such as stolen data and counterfeit goods were also traded over time. Some things, however, were forbidden on AlphaBay, such as child abuse materials and details of stolen Russian bank accounts. Perhaps Alpha02 wanted to avoid problems with Russian law enforcement, or maybe he wanted to mislead US authorities into thinking he was based in Russia. In its first year, AlphaBay gained a strong foothold, with over 200,000 customers and 40,000 sellers conducting illicit business in peace. By 2017, AlphaBay had over 300,000 items listed, and daily sales had reached $1 million. Alpha02, whom nobody knew, was earning over $1 million a month from these sales, and had become the undisputed king of the dark web. Law enforcement agencies from around the world were trying to uncover Alpha02's true identity, but they had been unsuccessful so far. American investigators were attempting to find AlphaBay's server location so that they could raid the data center and shut the platform down. However, tracking a dark website's location is far more difficult than tracking a normal website, as it can only be accessed through Tor, which hides the real location behind random servers. Hence, it was nearly impossible for the investigators to trace AlphaBay. They even tried to catch drug dealers on the platform, hoping it would lead them to Alpha02. But the authorities were after the mastermind himself, who was being extremely cautious. Then, in 2017, the authorities finally got a lead on Alpha02. A DEA officer named Robert Miller was searching for Alpha02 when he received an unexpected email. The email contained some information about Alpha02 sent by an anonymous tipster. When you register on any website, you usually receive a welcome email, and the same had happened when AlphaBay was first launched in 2014. The email had come from a specific email address, a detail that was later corrected, but the tipster had saved this address and shared it with the DEA officer. Using this email address, the investigators discovered that it had been used to sign up for various social media platforms. On one French social media platform, Sky.com, the same email had been used by someone named Alex, and the investigation team even found some photos of Alex from 2008 and 2009. They suspected that this was Alpha02. The same email was linked to a dating profile where Alex had listed his hometown as Trois-Rivières, a city in Canada. According to the 2008 profile, Alex was 17 years old at the time, and 90 in the email address probably referred to his birth year. Authorities now had Alpha02's real name, Alexandre Cazes. But where was he? On his LinkedIn profile, Alexandre described himself as a software designer. The most important clue to his location came from his real estate holdings. He had a villa in Bangkok, a mansion outside the city, a holiday home in Phuket, and he was about to buy a villa in Cyprus. Agents began monitoring his movements. Alexandre, unaware of all this, was living his life in Bangkok, moving around in his Lamborghini, oblivious to the fact that agents from Thailand, the US, and Canada were following him. By June 2017, law enforcement agencies from 7 countries had joined forces to bring down both AlphaBay and its European competitor, Hansa. Operation Bayonet, as it was called, was launched to ensure that when AlphaBay was shut down, all its users would flock to Hansa, which was secretly under the control of European authorities. In the early morning of July 5, 2017, Alexandre Cazes was finally arrested in Bangkok while his laptop and phone were open. His cars, properties, and millions of dollars in cryptocurrency were seized. However, just a week after his arrest, Alexandre hanged himself in his cell. His one small mistake had cost him everything: his wealth, his freedom, and ultimately his life. Meanwhile, as expected, AlphaBay's users flocked to Hansa, and authorities were able to catch thousands of new dealers. A few weeks later, Hansa was also shut down, and the US Department of Justice held a press conference to announce the success of the operation. I hope you enjoyed this video by Climax. Please like, share, and comment, and we'll see you in the next amazing video.